Upsy daisy. Alright, welcome back to the channel, and here we are live. So, as you can see, as I was trying to set this up, I was trying to come in at like 7:30, so this one formed at like 7:13. So there was really no entry for me because that's way too early, but obviously that was a good trade. Hold up. I think I got my music wrong yesterday because it's turned up too far. Okay, so here we are, another day, another beautiful, glorious day. It was freezing cold. Yeah, I woke up shivering. I don't think I've heard my AC turn on once today because it's been so cold. I went to the dog park and it was literally freezing. My fingers were frozen. Guess how cold it actually was? It was like 50, 55 degrees. It wasn't even that cold, but I looked at the temperature back in good old Idaho and it was 30 something, so I can't really complain, and yet I still do, but it's fine. So yeah, I'm so happy to make it to the end of the week. Is it the way I thought it was gonna go? No. Why? So I was thinking that maybe I was just gonna go hard and I was gonna just pass this entire account, which I wanted to, and I still do, but I also don't want to blow up all of the hard work that I've done. I mean, let's look at this. And I try not to look at my stats too much because I definitely fell down that trap and that kind of that rabbit hole of looking so hard at your stats and then getting puffed up thinking that that I'm all that. So getting prideful, let's just put it that way. I would get very prideful because I'd be like, oh yeah, I see my stats, I had all green days the last 3 weeks, and it's like, yeah, so what? Everything that I have is a blessing from God, and it can all be taken away. Maybe I'm not ready to have a live account just yet, so slow is the way to go right now. And you know what? I have until Friday. I mean, I can still go past Friday. Let's not rush it. Let's not rush it. My whole goal was to rush it to Friday, but why? Why rush it? So we're not going to. If we see a trade, obviously, maybe we'll take it depending on what my heart's saying, because there's sometimes where I come in and I'm so focused on the number, so focused on this number and these numbers that I don't know, I feel blinded by my intentions entering a trade. And I think that's the biggest question when I enter a trade is, am I entering because I guess, am I entering out of faith and willingness to show up every time, or am I entering because trying to make this number just a little bit bigger? And whenever it's about this number, I don't trade. And so whenever I'm thinking about this, I don't trade. So right now I'm thinking like, okay, 500 at the end of the week, one trade. Technically it says two, but that was two contracts, but it was one trade. One trade, 500. Am I solid ending the week with that? Yes, 100%. And so yeah, let's go into the verse of the day because, so my group thing that I'm part of, they're having some sort of what are they doing? So they're having their food and fellowship where they have pulled pork, which I think I make a better pulled pork, but that's debatable. And they have game night, but it always goes super late and it's close. So typically it's in like downtown area, but this time it's right near where I live. I could literally just hop over there in like 10 minutes, but I would rather be here on the charts because it's just way more fun. So let's go to the verse of the day, which I need to pull up. Okay, so verse of the day is Romans 5 verse 1. So It says, what version is this? Okay, this is the easy version. Let me change that. Two seconds. Yeah, I don't really like the way the easy version reads. It's plain English. It's just not my stuff. Okay, let's go to the NIV. So it says, therefore, since we have been justified through faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ. Let me read the easy version. It says, so we see that God has accepted us. What? Has accepted us as right because we trust him. As a result, we have peace with God because of what our Lord Jesus Christ has done for us. Why was that so many more words? I don't know. So what does that verse mean to me? Let's think about that for a second. Peace. Peace. I don't like how the Bible app is trying to be like Instagram and the thing automatically anyways. So, as a result, we have peace with God because of what our Lord Jesus Christ has done for us. And that's what peace comes from, you know. I used to think that peace was just, you know, the non-existence of problems, right? So for example, your job's going good, it pays well, nobody's making you mad. You know, the car hasn't broken down, the dog isn't running amok, the lights are working, the bills are paid. That's peace, right? Because, you know, nothing's going wrong. But that's actually not the case. I realized that when I didn't have a job for 2 months. So let's back up to end of January, all of February, and most of March. Yeah. I didn't have a job for 2 solid months, and I had more peace than I ever had in my entire life before that. Why? Because nothing was going specifically right. If anything, everything that could have gone wrong was going wrong. But I had so much peace through that because of what? And let's go back to the verse. As a result, we have peace with God because of what our Lord Jesus Christ has done for us. You see, even though I didn't have a job, even though everything was uncertain and I had no idea where life was gonna take me, and I'm sorry, I just missed our little friend. Yeah, let's bring this little guy back. I moved him because I was trying to do some stuff. But anyways, so yeah, I didn't know where life was taking me, you know. I just knew I didn't have a job. I didn't know how long it's gonna be able to keep paying the bills. But guess what? I had a peace that passed all understanding because there was no understanding. I was like, why is this happening to me? I didn't understand. I didn't know when it was gonna end. I didn't know anything, right? But there was just a peace through all of that. I remember I went to the beach one day. And I was like, you know what? I don't have anywhere to be, so I'm gonna be on the beach. So I took Sazio. We went to the beach. We ran around and played in the sand. And I remember my sister. She was like, "How are you?" She was like, I don't remember her exact words, but she was like, "How are you so calm?" And I remember a lot of people actually asked me that. They were like, "How are you so calm? You don't have a job." And I was like, yeah, it's great, you know, I can just exist and know that God's gonna take care of everything else. And you know what? He did. He 100% did. And yeah, I just Peace doesn't come from the absence of problems, at least for me. It comes from knowing who's in control with or without those problems. You see, things can be going really good, and then they can just, in a heartbeat, not be. Everything could change. And the thing with that is, you never know. You honestly, you never know. And so, understanding that you have very limited control in so many things, right? So, for example, let's talk about my work. So, my person that's supposed to be, a leader is not. And she's supposed to be doing her job so that I can do my job, and she hasn't. So I can't do my job or submit my numbers because she didn't fix something. And who does that look bad on? Me. But here's the thing, I could freak out about it. I could be, pacing the floor and trying to figure out ways that I can fix the problem. But here's the thing, it's completely out of my control. I can't fix her, her choices or make her do her job. I can't control her, right? All I can do is control me and my actions, and anything else that happens outside of that, oh well, it's out of my control. And I think when you live your life, at least for me, when I started living my life not worried about all of these things I can't control, I became a much happier and much more content person, because I used to have really bad anxiety. I tried to control everything. Before I would meet somebody, for example, I had whole scripted conversations in my head, because it was like, oh, I have to, prepare for whatever they might ask me. I had icebreaker questions prepared. Like, I couldn't wing it in a conversation. It was impossible. And so now, fast forward, I can carry on a conversation. Put me in a room. Do I like being thrown into the middle of social interactions? No, but I can still do it. Why? Because I can't control what the other person's gonna say. Why spend so much time with anxiety trying to prepare for conversations that I don't even know what they're gonna say. Maybe no one's gonna talk to me at all, which would be a blessed thing, But here's the thing, why spend so much time worrying about things that you have no control over? It's pointless. And so, let's relate that back to trading. So, with trading, you cannot control anything the market does. You can't. It's impossible. You can try. It's not gonna happen. You cannot, nobody, and I mean nobody, doesn't matter how good you are, how good you think you are, you cannot control what the market does and or doesn't do. You can't. It's not possible. And you cannot predict which way the market is going to go. It's not possible. You can use statistics and numbers and, this happened in the past 100 times, so it could happen 101 times. You could use that logic, right? But can I tell you, right, for example, where we're sitting right now, is the next break going to be green or is it going to be red? Let's go over here. Is this price going to continue up, or maybe is it going to continue down within the next few candles, maybe within the next hour? Are we going to be pushing up or down? Because clearly we're in some sort of what are we in? So we've been pushing up a lot, because I remember yesterday we were all the way down here. So this is where we were yesterday. We entered a buy. Yeah, we did. So we entered a buy yesterday. We were buying all the way back here. Well, we ended up selling down, and then we ended up hitting this bottom right here. Boom. We all day. And then we've started to kind of tighten the reins a little bit. We start having a little bit more consolidation, directional, yet still consolidation. And then we had a nice see, we had a nice spike, and now we're kind of like, right? So overall, the bias is buying, right? Because or maybe we start to sell. How do you know? And here's the answer. You don't know. Nobody knows. And you can read the charts and all you want, but nothing is going to tell you what we're going to do. Let's say it's 5 o'clock in the morning. At 5 o'clock in the morning, are we going to be up here? We're going to be down here? Or maybe we're going to still be bouncing around. And that's the thing with trading. You actually cannot know. And so that's where peace comes in, right? Knowing you'll be okay regardless of whatever way the market decides to go, right? If it decides to go up, great. If it decides to go down, great. If you happen to enter a trade that's good, great. And if it's bad, cool. Because why? Because you can only control one thing, right? Entering, not entering, exiting, placing stops. That is what you can control, is showing up and following the strategy. Whether or not it plays out in your favor, not up to you. It's not up to you. And then that's where faith comes in and all of that, because I truly believe this is my purpose and this is my calling. And it's not about the money. The money is just a, I would say a reward, but like it's a byproduct, right? Because the thing that I enjoy most is building the system, right? This system wasn't built overnight. It wasn't. This actually took a lot of time. I kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday about how this came to be. And it wasn't just something that was, overnight, like, oh, I think I'll do it this way from now on. Like, no, this was a lot of sweat and tears, and also a lot of tears because I was crying like a lot. But the point is that at the end of the day, I enjoy charting. I enjoy this little sheet with my little equity curve. I cannot wait to add the next week right here. But yeah, I enjoy my sheet with the equity curve. It's actually been a very mild week this week. Anyways, I enjoy that. I enjoy trying to keep up a journal because I can't keep up a journal for nothing. And yeah, that's what I enjoy. And the purpose, right, and the goal, right, is to start a foundation. And I can't do that with what I'm on right now. It's impossible. Like, I could never save up enough just to start like a little fund or something. It's not happening. It's not happening. And that's where I'm curious as to why this isn't moving, because it should be. It definitely should be. There we go. Yeah, it seemed like it was frozen for a second. But yeah, it's looking like we're gonna get a secondary right here, and there you have it. So there is an entry. Dare I enter? I already said I wasn't gonna trade. Yeah, I did. I said that, didn't I? You did, Lizzie. Well, let's just see. If we can get it up here, that's a good risk to reward at 40. Yeah, good risk to reward at 40. But anyways, so yeah, it's we're just running all the, we're not up there. We need to be up here. We don't have to be, but it would be nice. But yeah, so anyways, the point is I I like showing up every day. It's not something I'm used to. Definitely not something I'm used to. But I enjoy it. I I really do. I really do. All right, if we get up into the oh no. Yeah, I was like if we get up back into the 339, then I would probably enter for 1 instead of 2, but that ship is gonna sail in like 2 seconds. But it's okay. It's okay. I didn't really come in with the mindset to trade because it's the last day of the it's the last day of the week. It's the last day to trade, and honestly, it's a good day, you know, it's a good day. And yeah. So tomorrow is Friday. Yeah, so on Saturday, it's November, and we're planning a trip. Gonna head to Idaho, and you know, my fiance is gonna be meeting the parents for the first time. So we had a whole talk today about, you know, just that, and you know, just life. It was a good chat. And I definitely, I don't know, it feels good to open up. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little, I wouldn't say closed off, but you know, I don't really like to talk about the past because I'm like, you know, the past is the past for a good reason. So I don't like to talk about the past too much, and so it was good to open up and share some things, you know, life lessons and all that. So yeah, I'm excited for November because, okay, here's the thing. In Idaho, November was always a depressing time for me because mostly because it was freezing. And yes, I was just complaining that it was cold, but this is not cold. People here do not know what cold actually is. And so I'm excited. I mean, I've spent a November here. I moved here back last September. So I spent a winter here and it was quite lovely actually. So I also just really like, yes, even though it's cold in the morning, this afternoon I went and there you have it, folks. Beautiful. So that was your exit, and it was a perfect entry. I mean, it did give a good entry because it did pop up to about, I was hoping it would pop up to like 40, but it didn't. It popped up to 39 and then it dropped down, so you would have gotten quite a lovely exit off of that. Yeah, you know, good trade. Is that one? Yeah, this one doesn't count. So that's the first one of the night, and it's already almost 8 o'clock. I've been noticing that we tend to get trades around 8 o'clock. Like if it's slow, all like for example, if you have an evening that starts off just kind of choppy and bouncy and with no direction, you tend to get movement around 8 o'clock. I don't know what happens around that time, but there tends to be more movement. But also because it was nearing Friday, I'm not expecting a whole lot of movement, exactly, because positions tend to be closing out and people aren't trying to hold over the weekend, so they're just looking for good places to dump or to sell. So, but yeah, I mean, good trade, folks. We weren't in it, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so what was I saying? I don't remember. Oh yeah, was I talking about winter, November? Oh yeah, I was saying, so this afternoon I went to the dog park with Zazio, and I was wearing like 2 sweatshirts because I was cold, but it was still nice. And I was, you know, playing in the grass with him, and he was running around, and there was nobody else there, which was quite lovely, honestly. And we were just hanging out at the dog park, and I don't know, I really enjoyed that. And so that's one thing you can't do in Idaho is, you can't be running around outside in the middle of even the end of October. One year there was a blizzard, like an actual blizzard, and the wheel line, I don't know if you know what a wheel line is, but it waters the fields, and it's like a big wheel, and then there's a pipe both ends, and then the pipes connect to other pipes, so it's like a whole line of just wheels and pipes and sprinklers. Anyways, well, one of the wheel lines started rolling away. Just a single wheel with the lines just started rolling down the field. And so me and my brothers had to go outside and haul it back to safety. And it was so cold that I'm pretty sure we almost got frostbite. It was really bad. You couldn't see in front of you. So yeah, end of October in Idaho, not fun. So I quite enjoy this, and that's why I have no intention of leaving Texas, because why? You know, 2 seasons, and they're both the best seasons ever. Summer and kind of like a fall spring kind of a weather. There's really no winter. So there's that. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Honestly, beautiful, beautiful trade. And like, Lizzie, why didn't you enter the trade? because you see, if I would have entered and it would have went well, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's great. If it would have went bad, I would have been like, I knew I shouldn't have traded today. Wah. So if that's already my mindset of, if I lose, I'm going to be like, I knew I shouldn't have traded today, well then that's my cue. Don't trade today. Simple as that. But yes, there will come a time where I will take every trade, because like I said, let's go back to the chart. Okay, right? These numbers are based off of if I did take every trade without holding, right? So that means I entered here or even here and exited there. I didn't hold for this or that. So that is what it's based off of, right? So this equity curve, it's about to, let me just punch in some numbers. I have a feeling we might get one or two more before the end of the night, but let's just say it was 1-to-1, just for grins and giggles. I don't know why I put Friday. We don't trade on Friday. I don't know why that's there. I need to fix that. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. So let's say we did that for no good reason. Okay. So is this counting properly? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So okay, so let's say we didn't do any more. So right now our equity curve is looking like 4,400 at the end of 2 weeks. I mean, it's not bad, right? But it's pretty low when you consider yeah, it's pretty low when you consider last week it was 3,600, and then this week we're only up about 9. No, wait, I know math. 4, 8. Yeah, we're only about 800. So yeah, there's a huge difference between, being up 800 on the week versus being up, 3,000. So and that week was really, really busy. Yeah, this week had, like 13, and then we're getting it's been a very slow week, because we've had, these last few days, nothing higher than 5. Like 5 was the biggest, and then we've had a lot of 2s and 3s. So yeah, but again, this is only with one contract, so we're not, because then if you add 2 contracts, all of those numbers start to double. So but having this loss at 36 isn't great for numbers wise, because there's a what's it called? The drawdown, and we can only have about 2,000 in drawdown. So that's where you start having little hiccups. And yes, they're not all back to back to back, but if they were, you'd be screwed. So that's why I'm selective. Like, even though this is a raw number, I'm still very selective about what I trade because you, you know, more exposure. And sometimes more, actually, a lot of times, more is not better. It's not in so many aspects of life. More food is not, it's not good. You don't, sometimes it's just take, just take what God gives you. Sometimes it's just a little something, just a little enough. It's enough, right? It's enough to get by. It's just exactly what you need. And when you start going for more, you start getting greedy. That's when you start having problems. It reminds me of the story of the manna in the Bible. So basically, yeah, what's the manna? So basically, God sent manna. Every was like I think it was like a dew. I really kind of want to see what it tasted like, but it was like it would be on the ground in the morning. You're supposed to gather it, and then it was that morning, right? Pretty sure it wasn't the night. Yeah, and then you gathered it, and then you had manna to eat for the rest of the day, and then you had to go get more the next day. Well, if you gathered too much, if you got a little greedy and you were like, I don't want to go gather the manna tomorrow, guess what would happen? All that manna turned, I want to read what happened to it, but it went bad. Like, you couldn't eat it. It went bad. But that's also where the miracle came in, because God specifically designed it so that on the Sabbath, right? Because they couldn't do any work on the Sabbath. Okay, so hold up. We have our first green, but it's not a primary entry. Why? Because we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not a primary entry. Ta-da! Okay, so what was I saying? I don't remember. Something about something. All right. Manna. Story. Yeah, so God told them to gather as much as they could eat, about 1 omer, which is about 2 quarts, which I don't know what a quart is, anyways, per person, and not to save any until the next day. Those who disobeyed and tried to save manna for the next day found it had become rotten and smelly, except on the 6th day, right? So God commanded the people to gather twice the usual amount on the 6th day to prepare for the Sabbath. The manna did not spoil, and they were to eat on the 7th day when no manna would appear. Isn't that interesting? No, but like, seriously. They went out, so during the week, if they wanted to be lazy and not go gather the manna the next day, all of the extra that they gathered spoiled. It went bad. But when God specifically when God specifically said, okay, this is the day, this is the one time that you can get extra, okay? This is the one time that you can get extra, and it's not gonna go bad. And so back to what I was saying about how this relates to trading is sometimes when you try to get greedy and you try to grab too much, that's when things start going bad, because it wasn't it's not what God has allowed in that moment for you. And so, and you'll see a lot of traders, they'll say similar thing, right? Sometimes it's better to know when to stop trading than, just to keep going and keep going. Well, look at that. Just gorgeous. Anyways, yeah. And so I would rather honestly just let it go. Just let it go, And like I said, if I come in with the mindset of I'm not gonna trade today, then I'm not gonna trade today. It's just that simple. And as far as adding more contracts, sure, right? And taking every trade, yeah, it's gonna start exposing you to things like this, right? Because okay, let's go back. So here, for example, you had a good one and then you had a bad one, a good one, so that canceled out, so now you're at a break even. Then you had another bad one, so then you need two good ones to cancel that out. So basically, at the end of this, you're sitting at a break even if you took all of these, right? And think about all the mental, just like the mental space that occupies, because it's not as simple as clicking a button. You think it'd be that easy, right? Just enter this button and everything's all good. No, but it actually doesn't work that way. You see, because the second you hit one of these buttons, that's when the attacks start, right? It's like, okay, now it's time to exit because what if it loses, right? You kind of get scared, right? You get scared, you want to back out. And then let's say you enter and things are going good. Well, then there's that temptation of greed, right? Oh, let me just stay in a little bit longer, let me add a few more contract size, this seems to be going well, right? And then it's always in hindsight, right? And hindsight will get you in two different ways. One, let's say you didn't listen to your intuition. Say you didn't listen. Let's say I said, okay, I'm not going to trade today. Then I saw this and I said, nah, I'm going to trade today. Well, guess what? Guess what that does? If I win that trade, in hindsight, I'm going to look back and I'm going to be like, I shouldn't trust what I say in the beginning because clearly it was a good trade, right? So now, whenever I enter the market and I feel like, oh, it's not a good day for me to trade, right? I'm just not feeling it. Well, I've already told myself, well, just ignore your feeling because it could be right, right? So I've effectively, from a psychological standpoint, I've reinforced bad behavior with a win because now, not listening to my own words and saying, oh, I'm not going to trade today, but I'm still rewarded for not following my own plan. That's, even though I won, I didn't really win. Really, I didn't. Because all I am doing is setting myself up for a future date where I say, you know what, I don't feel like trading today. And I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna do it because the last time it worked out, right? And so following your plan is so much more important than the wins. It really is. Okay, so here's the second way that'll set you up, right? So let's say you come in and you say, I'm not gonna trade today. And then you don't trade and you get something like this. What's that gonna do? It's gonna play with your mind. Because then you're gonna think, crap, I shouldn't listen to my intuition, right? Because clearly it worked. So then you're kicking yourself because you missed the trade. You're like, why did I miss it? Blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to go off, right? And then you're not going to trust your intuition because of that time that you didn't take a trade and it was right and you missed it, right? So what I'm trying to say is, whatever your plan is, you got to stick to it. And it can be hard because you see wins pass you by. That was a win, passed me by. But I have to stick to the plan because if I don't, right? Then what's the point, right? It's all about a system, and that's one of the best things I love about trading is the system that it forces you to build, right? You're literally forced to build a system with trading because there's absolutely, there is no way you can succeed without one. You need one. And it's so easy to get caught up in the numbers and I'm making some money and dollar signs. No, when I trade, I turn everything I turn off the dollar signs. I only see tick size. And honestly, it clears your mind, because when you start seeing dollars, you're like, oh, I'm up $300, exit. Instead of saying, oh, the trade hasn't fully materialized. Okay, it did. Okay, now exit. And there's clearly examples of that. The last week when I was trading, and I am gonna go back. I'm surprised, only one opportunity today. Well, we still have 15 minutes, but I'm surprised. Typically we get about 2, 3, but one is diabolical. Goodness. Zazu? It's funny, whenever I say his name, he's chewing on a bone, and then he stops mid-chew, and you can see he's looking out of the corner of his eye like, yes, what do you want? Yeah. Oh wait, and that's the one thing I forgot. Okay, so remember yesterday I drew that little circle, you can call it that. I drew a circle and I put a number. Let's go find it. I wonder, now I actually want to find the drawing. What's this do? Okay, I don't know. Does anybody remember the day that I drew that? Let's just scrunch everything up, make it really small. There it is. Okay. So this day I drew a 6. So between this time frame, there were, you see this, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. When I drew this circle, there were 6 in this time frame because I locked it to the chart so it couldn't move. So there were 6 of these, right? So see how this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it continues on 5. And then there's probably some other examples. Weak examples. Okay, here's one. So this one's 1, 2, and continues on 3. This one's 1, 2, continues on 3. Okay, so 1, 2, continue on 3. Here's one where it's 1, 2, 3, continue on 4, 1, 2, continue on 3. So basically, the essence of my past strategy, where I was trying to eliminate chop by waiting for there to be chop. So the reason why that went awry is because of, where is it? Where'd you go? Because of this. Because over time, the market consolidates things like this, boom, 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 into something simple like that. So it looks like there was no chop at all, but really there were 6 times. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 on 5, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it was on 7. But you don't see any of that here, do you? And I did that literally yesterday. Exactly. I did that yesterday. So between yesterday and now, all of that, just, I'm gonna delete it now. Yes. Yeah. So that's why that strategy ended up failing, was because it looked good. It looked good, but it wasn't. And that's the biggest problem with hindsight trading, or hindsight backtesting. So here we are. This might give us one more, actually, if we can get up to here for 48. That will give us our entry. Well, I mean, I'm not entering. Also, because there's like 10 minutes left of the session, why is it that whenever I get on the chart, the time just flies by? Yeah, my fiance was texting me while I was streaming. when I lost track of what I was saying. So there's one entry, so we have to count it. Hopefully in the next 10 minutes we can complete this one because I don't want to be sitting here for too long. Also, let me grab my headphones. What kind of jams are we listening to now? Oh. I don't know what this garbage is. Okay, hopefully it's not too loud. I might have to check that. I mean, I can't really check it while I'm while I'm streaming, unless I put it on my phone. Yeah, if we can get to, what are we looking for? 50? Yeah, earlier I turned on my computer and then it died. It died. Like it was up and then it just turned itself off. It was like, you know what, not today. Not today, Lizzie. Turned off. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like all of my streaming is weighing down on this poor little guy, and it's not gonna last too long. It's an old computer too. Okay, we have 8 minutes. I would like to see something, anything, even if it's a loss. I don't care, just anything, please. I just don't want to be sitting here for like super long waiting for this trade to continue to play out, but we have to because it's the end of the week. Yeah, obviously this one's not gonna be so easy. Yeah, I've also noticed, this is something I've noticed, but always like the first one tends to play out faster than the last couple. And that might be what's happening here. So, but in all realisticness, right? With 10 minutes to go in a session, would I be entering this? No, I would definitely would not be. It's just the time, just the time frame. Let's just get our journal entry ready. Oh, this one. October 3rd, is that the 30th? Guys, okay, this is kind of embarrassing, but like, it's around Halloween, and it was horrible. So, first of all, Zazia was scared of Halloween decorations, and rightfully so. They're creepy, unnecessarily just creepy. And so, one of the neighbors put like a skeleton on their door, and I knew it was there because I saw it before. But I'm walking Zazio and it was dark, and I came around the corner and I see something out of the corner of my eye. It's the skeleton staring at me. Not that it has eyes, but it was just there. And like my heart skipped a beat. I was like, ugh. I don't know why I was genuinely scared, because I knew it was there. But like, I can't wait for October to be over, honestly, because we never celebrated Halloween for good reason, and yeah, I don't like it. So there's nothing cool about. Yeah, I get, okay, if you have kids, you want to dress up all cute and stuff, but like the origins of Halloween, just not good. Look into it sometime. So, we might go into overtime if this does not give me something. Okay, so let's talk about this logically. So, logically, would I enter a trade that's 10 minutes before it's time to close it out, also after such a slow period? Would I? No, for obvious reason. Okay, that one's a loss right there. Boom, right there. So obviously no, because it's just the night's too slow and we're too close to closing time, right? Now I did give us the trade, a loss, obviously. So we better go write that in. Trade. Just kidding, that should be 2. 2 trades. So realistically, would I have taken it? No, but I still have to enter it because, so 1, just for consistency, because there have been other times where there were trades like, you know, within the last couple of minutes and I still counted them. So yeah, still gotta count it, unfortunately. So there you go. See, that's the problem when you have a negative RR. Is like when you do have a good one, you kind of have to try to hold them, because then you get things like this. And if you only have 2 trades, right, with a negative RR, you end up with a negative day. So let's put that in our little chart. 2, there you go, and now it's 50. Got 2 minutes. Not again. No. And crap. There's another entry. Oh, fine. I'm gonna let this one go. We got 40 seconds. Okay, we may be going into overtime because we have 30 seconds and this needs to complete. So let's see if we have momentum. We do not. I don't know what the heck that was. Oh, this must have been the one that pumped us down. Okay, well, let's just wait. I can already say it's not looking super great, but it's okay. I'm just dancing in my chair over here. Okay, so there you have it. And I completed at 8:30 perfectly. So that's 3 trades, 2 losses. Even worse. Let me go fix these numbers. 3 trades. 2. Well. Yeah, when you start getting close to this moving average, watch out. I feel like that almost cancels out the week. Let's see. 1 second. And this is gonna be even worse. 33. That drops us to 78. And as you can see, we're completely break even on the week. We didn't lose, but we didn't make this entire week with that one last loss. So let's put that in our, yeah, that's right. I was like, somehow the number seems off. Yep, exactly. End of this week, I'm gonna put that number in. I don't have to come back and do it tomorrow. 53. Well, I would have actually probably done this on Saturday. 600. Okay. Ta-da! So we're flat. We are flat off this week. Yeah, there you go. See, and that's why, this is why we don't need to be taking every single trade, okay? Just a select few, So end of the week with our static numbers, we are flat. Didn't lose, didn't win, just flat. And that's with a total of starting 5, so here's our sum. So that's about 15 trades on the week. And yeah, so off of 15 trades on the week, we had a static, pretty static week, which in comparison to last week is crazy because we had 36. So, you know, how do we go from a week of 36 to 15 is wild, but that is how we ended. And then obviously how we ended here, well, I mean, we didn't trade, so it's good. I can see a short happening because we're already at 0.1. So if this gives us another push, we'll probably get an entry, a primary entry. So, and let's talk about what kind of entries these were. So this was a secondary entry which lost, and another secondary entry which lost. Yeah. So yeah, we only got secondary entries today, and only one of them was good. So this is how we're ending our week. We have one more week before we get that kind of that reset. So yeah, here's hoping for a good week next week, as long as we're staying steady and not going crazy and revenge trading, which surprisingly over the last couple of weeks I haven't felt the urge to do so. So it's been nice. Alright, I'm probably just gonna pray us out this week, and yeah, I'll probably come back on, hi Sazio, I will come back on Saturday to do probably like an overview of the last 10 days, just to see what exactly the charts were doing, because I had a mini little baby theory bubbling around in my head that maybe the first one after 8 or around 8 is the best one, but I don't know that for sure. Because if I could just narrow it down to like a specific time frame with a specific setup, then I wouldn't have to worry about all the other ones, you know? But that's neither here nor there. So let's pray us out of the week, and then we'll just go from there. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day. Um, it it was just so good to just be in your presence, be in nature. You know, thank you for the job that I have, even though it's extremely frustrating sometimes. But it was your protection from honestly a worse situation. And thank you for thank you for protecting me even today in the markets. Um, just help me to keep my heart in the right place, keep my mind in the right place, and focused on you and the path that I am to walk, because it's so easy to get caught up in the green and the money and all of that. But and I have struggled a lot, but it's with your grace that I'm here even now, coming back, because there were plenty of times I wanted to quit. A lot of times. Um, Thank you for giving me the patience and the tools and the computer, even though the computer is on its last legs. Thank you for all of the amazing people you've put in my life that have supported me in this journey and just in all areas of life. And also, thank you for Zazio, because without him, I don't think I would be getting out or talking to anyone. And we'll talk about the miracle of little Zazio at a later date. But for now, all I can do is say thank you and yeah, thank you and good night to all. Have a great weekend. I will be, where will I be? Won't be here. I'm not going anywhere. Ah, ta-da. I knew it. I knew there'd be another trade. Get off the charts, Lizzie. Come on. Come on. This one's like, she's calling to me. Um, yeah, no, I gotta get out of here before I start pressing buttons. We're not entering anything, but that's a primary entry. Why? Because first one, first one. I guarantee you that's gonna, well, I can't guarantee you anything, but I wanna bet it's gonna come down here. It's my bet. You know what? Let's just watch it. I just want to watch this last one, and then and then I will shut off the thing. Hmm. Ooh, what kind of jams are we listening to? I don't know what that is. Oopsie. Yeah, I just want to watch this one because as you can see, pretty flat. Like we're just, we haven't, we're just kind of bouncing around in a nice little, tight little range, honestly. Here's the bottom, here's the top. Yeah, I just want to see what happens with this last one. And then, because who knows, it could give us three bad ones in a row. Is that possible? Yes, it is very possible. So let's just see what happens. So we're about a couple ticks away from it being a bad one. See, now if you wanted to enter, this would be the perfect spot to enter. Why? Because when it's already green, right, your loss parameters are already way up here. So let's say, where did it, I don't remember where it stopped. It was somewhere up here. So let's say it was right here. Okay. So Your stop loss has to be at the top of the last brick, and your take profit would be right there. So in this instance, you're risking, in this case, somewhere around 8 to make 52. That's the best risk to reward you can have, right? When it's already coming up green, hold on, let me remove some things because it's making it difficult. Okay, so when it's already up here, you have, okay, so it's right here. Let's just stop right there. Okay, so it's right there. Your stop loss is always going to be here, okay? So that means you're risking 15 to make boop, boop, one extra brick, which is 45, right? So typically we have a what? A 1-to-2 ratio or a 2-to-1 where you're risking 2 to make 1, but in this case you're risking a lot less to make this. You're still shooting for that same entry, right? That same exit right here. And so if you're entering up here, you have a better risk to reward. Let me show you that in colors. Okay, so let's say you entered here. Okay, so let's say this is the prime entry, right? Is right here. Right? Yeah. This is a prime entry right at the bottom of this. Okay. Which means your stop loss has to be at the top of the last one, which is there. Okay. Let's make it a little bigger. Okay. And then your take profit has to be 1 brick, which is 20. So your take profit's 20. Ta-da. Okay. So right now, if you entered here, right, you're risking 40 to make 20. But you saw when it turned green, right? It turned green up here. So our entry would have actually been here. So now you're risking 15 because that's what's red, right? You're risking 15 to make 45. The target is still the same. It hasn't moved, but your entry has moved, which is giving you better risk to reward. So your reward's higher and your risk is a lot lower, which means you can do what? You can enter more. You could potentially size up because yes, if it's already up here, there's a good chance that it, doesn't. And there you have it. There's your take profit. So beautiful. And see, that's how far it went up. See this? Can you even see that? So there's like a little tail right here and it came up to 43. So let's move this to 43. This is where it was. So you were effectively risking 10 because it was 10 ticks away from hitting where your stop loss should be. 10 to make 50. And because you're only risking 10, what could you do? You could enter multiple contracts like 2, for example. So now you're risking $200 to make what? Boop, 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 boop. Seriously, what is that? I think it's 1,000. Yeah, so you're effectively risking 200 to make 1,000 simply by entering up here. So that's why I wanted to watch that one play out because I had a good feeling about it. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want to see. That was just like a little those overtime bonus, but yeah, that's a good example of taking advantage of these tails. And then if you held it, it's already down here. So again, just good opportunities all around. And that's all. Have a great weekend. Good night. I must depart.